All right, look, I'm fresh off work, so I look a little rough, but I had to get into this because DannyFromTheStop put up a video. And if you're a fan of the Joe Budden podcast, you've been noticing a lot of shit going on. Normally, I got a drink out here. I just got sick today. We just going to get in a quick conversation. Marc Lamont Hill versus Ish, right? I'm going to start this off by saying I am an Ish fan. I'm not really a Marc Lamont Hill fan. If you see the hole in my shirt, I had work today. Rough shit. But, like, I'm more of an Ish fan than a Marc Lamont Hill fan, right? So, it's not just DannyFromTheStop, but it's a lot of content creators talking about how Marc Lamont Hill cooked Ish in a flat earth debate, right? So I'm listening to the content. I listen to that debate. I listen to all this shit, right? This shit is irritating, okay? Because, I mean, I don't got a lot of subscribers. I don't got a lot of viewers. But if you're familiar with my content, I said that was a bad argument for Ish to have anyway. Like, I'm a conspiracy theorist. A lot of people are. But when you feed into certain conspiracy theories, it makes all the conspiracy theories look goofy as fuck. It just is what it is type shit, right? So they having a debate, and Ish is already coming from a perspective. Well, he's already arguing something that he shouldn't be arguing. Even like I said in my other video, I touched into it more. It was just a bad thing to argue with Marc Lamont Hill, who is an experienced debater. So it made Ish look bad, right? So everybody like, oh, he made Ish look dumb. He made Ish look like that. He made Ish look like this, right? Now, I said I'm not a Marc Lamont Hill fan. I'm more of an Ish fan. But Marc Lamont Hill, the past couple episodes, he's been doing a really excellent job. Like, I actually, like, appreciate the boy, right? But, like, the JBP community, they got a lot of hate towards Ish. And, like, Danny had fell back, but now, like, now that this debate happened, Danny kind of like cooking Ish a little. Well, he's trying to cook Ish a little bit, and it's kind of annoying. And like some of my comments, I'm gonna say it's not necessarily gravitated towards DannyFromTheStop. It's just a JBP community in general. And I'm a part of that community. Like, I fuck with the content and shit like that. But I fuck with Danny content too. Okay, let's be real. Marc Lamont Hill cooked Ish on that topic, right? Like, he cooked them. It is what it is type shit. Like, it was a bad argument. Ish was arguing from a silly standpoint, and his argument was bad. So he got double cooked. He got the double flamer, bro. No Diddy, right? But you know what? Like, it's like sports where you deal with people that love their team so much, they start giving out bad assessments of, like, what's really going on the field. Yo, I want y'all to know, every time an issue comes up on a JBP about women, black women, gender, or politics, I want y'all to know that Ish smokes Marc Lamont Hill every time, yo. And you niggas are being biased because y'all don't like Ish, bro. And I'm going to touch into that a little bit. I'm not going to touch into it too much. But the JBP community got a lot of hate for Ish. And it's a lot of men. And I'm not talking about no specific content creators. This is just how I view this shit. Like, this is just my personal opinion type shit, right? I think, like, I don't want to say it all weird, but y'all like haters on Ish. It's weird. Hold up. My nose is acting all weird. My allergies. But, like, y'all haters on Ish. I think, like, in the black community, like, niggas be hating on a light-skinned nigga with, like, light eyes, no Diddy. Like, it just is what it is. You assume he get all these bitches and shit like that, right? So then Joe and them confirmed, like, especially Joe, he confirmed that, like, Ish got a lot of bitches. Now, Joe would try to flex who got more bitches type shit, and Ish would flex back, like, yo, but I got bitches off the strength. I wasn't no rapper. I wasn't on TV. Like, I was just that nigga out here, right? And I think a lot of the issues the JBP community has, especially men, is because they fucking dorks. I think that's why they don't like Ish and they don't gravitate to Ish. And, like, I'm not saying, like, dork in a crazy derogatory way. It's just like, niggas is fucking dorks. Like, it is what it is. Listen, I'm 40. I watch anime and I play games. I'm a dork when it comes to shit. But when it come to, like, niggas thinking that a nigga get a lot of pussy, niggas become haters and niggas become dorks. A lot of these JBP niggas is hating on Ish, like, and Ish take a lot of quote unquote, like, manly perspectives and shit like that, and niggas might not be able to relate to it. Now, some of this shit that Ish say, like when he act super street and super hood and act like he Nicky Barnes and shit, yeah, that shit get irritating, but like it really makes the niggas in the JBP community really, really mad. And like Marc Lamont Hill, like he a Philly nigga, but he just a nigga from Philly. He's a Philly nigga. It don't matter. I ain't gonna get into this. He ain't street shit. But he like a college educated brother. Like he a successful black man. Shout out to him. So more niggas like gravitate towards Marc Lamont Hill, just from a percentage perspective, because it's like, oh, he educated. He not on no street shit. The nigga Ish kind of like, all right, he went to school, but he like relate to the streets. He chasing bitches and shit like that. Not saying Marc Lamont Hill ain't get a lot of pussy, but like, the nigga Ish and Joe Buttons talk about all the bitches they done ran through. And like, so clearly the nigga Ish got a resume. And I think a lot of men in the JB community hate that bull because of that shit, right? Now, the real issue is, it's not really a Marc Lamont Hill and Ish thing. Because I could tell, like, this is just my perspective. I can't really tell, but I feel like they do fuck with each other. Like, they went to the Knicks game together. Like, I do feel like they fuck with each other type shit, right? This is all Joe Budden's fault, and I love Joe. This is his fault, bro. Because he kept gassing shit the whole time with the cast. And then he would, like, you could tell, like, yo, Joe think he's slick. But if you've been around niggas like Joe, you could tell when they sneak dissing. So a lot of the shit he says, like, oh, Marc Lamont Hill, he carrying the pod and da-da-da-da. That's really to get underneath Queen's Flip and Ish's, like, skin type shit. And I could tell, like, Ish already had problems in the JBP because a lot of niggas just hate Ish. Like, I don't know why. I feel like me and, like, a lot of niggas that's cool with me, like, we relate to a nigga like Ish. Like, not on every topic, but he seemed like the regular nigga. But a lot of niggas in the JBP, like, respectfully, they like square dork niggas. So they gonna relate more to Marc Lamont Hill. Like, when Joe and Ish talking about, like, bitches and shit, right? I can relate to them niggas. I'm not saying I'm like this nigga that was getting bitches on the elite level type shit, but I can relate to that, like, doing shit like that. Like, it's a vibe. Like, me and my niggas relate to shit like that. In our prime, we washed up now, but, like, you can relate to it. Marc Lamont Hill just come with these little snarky, I don't even, maybe snarky is not the right word, but he just come up with these perspectives that other niggas could relate to, and it's more other niggas than niggas that, like, relate to shit that, like, Ish into and Joe Budden's into, and that I might be into. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, Ish gets mad unnecessary hate, because you could go back, and if you're a JBP fan, Ish has cooked Marc Lamont Hill on every topic when it comes to women, black women, and politics. Because Marc Lamont Hill is a uber liberal ass nigga. And, like, I consider myself liberal. I'm just not uber liberal. Like Marc Lamont Hill, the type nigga that, like, yeah, I think that kids should be able to get a sex change at 12 type shit. Like, that nigga come off like a liberal like that. I'm not on that type time. So, like, I just don't like that. And like I said, I fuck with Danny from the start. I fuck with the content. I don't like that he has never pointed out. Now, maybe he might not feel this way, but I don't like that he never pointed out all the times that, like, Ice and Ish have cooked Marc Lamont Hill. They, like, Ish took a massive loss on this flat earth shit, but he has cooked Marc Lamont Hill mad fucking times. But see, you know what the real issue is, yo? I think niggas got a hold of my nigga Ish ego, and that's why I wish he would stop always talking that street shit, because he got, like, his ego hit after that basketball shit, and the nigga did a basic ass move and fucking tore his ACL, so it made the nigga look like vulnerable type shit. Like, nigga, you talking all this street shit and you tearing the ACLs off a jab step, so it made it like niggas could really come at Ish. So he got like a chink in his armor type shit, and he not handling it well, where I don't even know if Ish is a flat earth nigga like that. I think he just wanted to engage with Marc Lamont Hill, and that was a bad fucking argument, yo. it's so many times where well, not anymore, because Mark Lamont Hill kind of starting to step away from like Melissa Ford type shit. But it was mad times where he would side with Melissa Ford and Ish and Ice and even Joe. They would fry them. And nobody made videos about that. They would cook them. But everybody making about like all these videos about Ish because they can't relate to Ish. Like, and it's kind of annoying. Like I said, in my other videos, I was giving Danny credit for like, he had like, before he was coming at Ice and Ish a lot, he kind of fell back from that shit. With this topic, the titles, all that shit, he got that battery in his back. He on Ish neck type shit. And I know, like, if you know anything about JBP and if you know anything about the stop, I'm not gonna say he got a chokehold on the podcast, but they all familiar with his content. They probably all sub to him. I ain't gonna lie to you, like, because he could switch. I have watched Danny, I'm not even going to exaggerate, at least 6 times create a narrative and that narrative make it onto the JBP. That is not the employee problem. That is a Joe Budden problem. Joe Budden already said he watches a bunch of content, even if they don't got a lot of views. And Danny get a decent amount of views. He get thousands of views and shit like that. But like, I already know, like, Joe, this is Joe's fault because he let those narratives. Now, is it in the name of content? All right, cool. But these narratives are starting to affect people in like real life type shit. And Ish is in Ice, they not content niggas for real. Like, they in the content game, but they still like regular niggas, especially Ish. My niggas still fucking with houses and shit like that. And I feel like the past couple episodes, Joe Budden's really been on his top, like calling him a fraud. It's just like, it's just weird behavior with Joe where it's like, I hate to sound like corny, but it's almost like he's trying to trigger him the whole time type shit. I don't get it. But like, if you know the history of Ish and Joe Buttons, maybe I won't, like, they was friends, then they might have became frenemies, and it's like, yo, Joe just always challenging Ish, and I think he tries to, like, to a certain extent, get Ish to react so the shit could go viral. But like, lately the shit been coming off fucking lame. Like, he always got a comment or coming at Ish, and it's kind of fucking, like, I ain't even being an Ish apologist, but it's kind of fucking annoying at this point. Like, damn, bro. But like I said, I'm not like a Marc Lamont Hill fan. Most of the JBP niggas is not Marc Lamont Hill fans, or his shit would be popping like the JBP because he been doing his own content, CNN, MSNBC, all types of shit. He been out there. You niggas wasn't watching him. You watched him, he on the JBP. But like, I ain't gonna lie, lately he's been doing like a really good job with like just the topics, his reactions to topics. He not so much like like holding Melissa Ford's hands and like debates and arguments or trying to cape for her. So I'm like, all right, this is like now I can like listen to Marc Lamont Hill and it's like an enjoyable like listen while I'm at work type shit. But the Ish shit is just weird. And I'm not even mad about, like, Marc Lamont Hill, he is a debating ass dude type shit. So where even if you don't agree with him, that dude is really good at articulating himself so he can get certain shit off, or you could kind of see his perspective with shit. Not me, because I could get past all that being good with your words type shit. But like lately he been cooking. But it's just like Joe Buttons is like really on Ish, and a lot of this shit that has like a lot of the problems on the Joe Buttons podcast right now, Joe has to address it. And I know they might not want to. I mean, listen, Joe was the one that originally gave Danny mad shine. Now, granted, let me be fair. I knew about Danny and I was subscribed to Danny before Joe Budden said anything about him. I was already watching the content. But like, now you could tell like Danny in the Twitter spaces. Danny is a voice, like a big ass voice in the JBP. And his narrative's got a chokehold on the fucking pod. And it's all Joe Budden's fault. And none of the cast will articulate that. Like Queen's Flip, not that he's stupid, but he just can't say like, yo, a lot of this shit got to, like, he'll say it, but niggas need to not be scared to say Danny's name. Like, yo, Danny is the reason why we got turmoil on this podcast type shit. And I hate when Danny do this shit because I think Danny content is above that. I don't always look at Danny views because, like I said, I've been listening to Danny for a long time. I think I've been listening to Danny before he was even getting 1,000 views. Like, I forget exactly when I started listening to him, but I've been listening to that dude for a long ass time. His shit wasn't always like this, but once he got a voice in the JBP, yo, he kind of controlled the emotions, and it's Joe's fault because Joe has literally brought narratives from that Danny from the Stop had on his channel to the platform. So like, I don't know if Joe could fix it, because it almost looked like it can't be fixed. Because now if he stops talking about Ish, he stopped coming at Ish, or Ish and Marc Lamont Hill don't have any more engagements where like they really get in their bag, it's going to look like it was a conversation behind the scenes, and that's corny. It's not going to look organic type shit, but they definitely got to address it. Like, I know, see, I fuck with Danny from the Stop, but he do hate and shit sometimes, so it's kind of irritating. So right now I feel like he just overdoing the Ish shit, right? But the real issue, they probably need to bring Danny from the Stop on the podcast. I'm not going to fucking lie. I know Danny got his own podcast. I know we got it in the culture where like, no, I ain't going to get a nigga a name. The nigga Danny got a name. I don't give a fuck if he got 1 million viewers or 20,000 viewers. He has a name in the community that affects the podcast. Either somebody got to go over there and talk to Danny. Danny probably put that on his Patreon too. Danny, don't do niggas like that, bro. But y'all should get Danny Patreon. It's $3. He do put up good content as long as he's not hating. He hating right now, but still support his shit. But like, or y'all should have Danny from the Stop on the podcast. And I would hope that Danny could have a regular conversation with the podcast and they really air shit out in a respectful way without Danny being a dick. Because if you ever heard Danny talk to like Imani or Ish or even Joe, Danny could be a dick. Now, I'm not saying go in there and just get punched all on Danny. Like, nah, you ain't just going on there to get punched on. But, like, really talk about this shit. And just, like, admit, like I said, I'm a nigga that don't get views like that. But at least admit where you was like, yo, I might have overdid it type shit. Because the pod is becoming, like, it's just becoming, like, toxic. And, like, when I'm driving my forklift and I'm listening, some of the energy be like fucking cringy, and it's just like, damn, I don't even think this shit dope like that right now. This shit kind of cringy. Like I said, the flat earth topic, I've been on 4chan for a long time, so I remember when they was pushing that narrative. Like, it was just silly for him to argue that perspective. But like, all right, Danny, you don't gotta say Marc Lamont Hill made the bull Ish look stupid. He just cooked him in an argument. Just cause a nigga get cooked in an argument don't mean that they stupid, bro. And give my nigga Ish credit every time he cooked Marc Lamont Hill when it came to all them subjects that I said in the beginning of the video. That's it, bro.